Hi everybody, thank you for joining me. I've got here the John Lennon Power to the People 2 LP transparent green vinyl version to show you. Thank you very much to the estate for sending this to me. As always, let me just make it absolutely clear, they do not tell us what to say. They don't say it's all got to be positive. If there's anything here that I think should be different or that I don't like, I'm completely free to say so, despite what some people think. So anyway, this is one of the many configurations that's available for this particular release. There is also black vinyl equivalent to this. I think it's the same price on the John Lennon store. So this 2LP vinyl is the one-to-one concert, Madison Square Garden, 30th of August 1972 with the Elephants Memory Band. This is the hybrid version, as it's been called, which essentially is like a best of the afternoon show and the evening show combined. I've got a sort of a breakdown of how it's split between the afternoon and the evening shows. I will go into that. First of all, I did take the shrink wrap off, and I'll show you there. There's the hype sticker that confirms Power to the People from the one-to-one concert, completely remixed from the original multi-tracks. I'm also going to tell you, I'm going to be upfront here about what this video is and what this video isn't. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. You will get a good look at this. I have reviewed the music already when I did the video on the 9CD 3 Blu-ray versions, and I did specifically cover the hybrid concert in that. So if you're wanting to know specifically about how it sounds, I've got that on that video. At the moment, still, I know I keep saying this, but everything's in boxes here. I've been able to put this onto my turntable to see whether it lays flat or whether it's a bendy pair of vinyl records. You'll be able to see that here. Mine are actually perfectly flat, which is great. The power supply for my record player is in storage. It's at the back of the storage unit. I cannot physically get to it because of everything that's in front of it. So although I've not been able to listen to the vinyl, so I can't tell you how the vinyl specifically sounds, I can tell you how this new mix sounds because I've done that on that other video, and it sounds phenomenally better than the Live in New York City concert from 1986. In comparison, that sounds like it was recorded in a tin shed, an echoey tin shed. This is the best mix of those songs you will have heard. And whether you come to that on streaming or whether you buy one of the physical configurations, you'll be able to certainly hear that for yourself. You haven't heard these concerts sound this good before. So this hybrid version is, let me just tell you something here. There's 9 previously unreleased versions of songs on here, on this hybrid version. Now, of the 17 tracks that are on here, 11 of them are from the afternoon show. And there were 14 songs that were performed at both the afternoon and the evening show and appear on the album. 10 of those 14 on here are from the afternoon show. That backs up my comments in my original video on the 9CD version that I felt that the afternoon show is a lot better than the evening show. So if you were to go for the 4LP version here, you get both of those shows. This that I'm showing you now is like a best of, and it does seem to be predominantly the afternoon show. That'll be a combination of better performances in some cases in the afternoon. I think the band, certainly John's voice in particular, got quite hoarse during the second show, which seemed to me from the order of the songs as though it was maybe during the song Mother, you know, the screaming at the end. I wondered whether that actually affected his voice for the next few songs. Sean's also mentioned about there being sort of big technical challenges with the recordings of the two concerts. They were recorded quite differently to each other, even though they were in the same venue on the same day. Maybe the afternoon shows came out as better recordings than the evening show. But that's what you've got on here. So hey, here's the front anyway. That's the front of the album. You'll see this has got a shiny cover on it, which I'm going to take off in a second. And then on the back you'll see Yoko there. So this is very similar. It's the same material as on the 4LP version, and houses the discs in the 9CD 3 Blu-ray. This is a material called recyclable PET or PET. It's not like PVC. It's not going to damage your records if stored near your records for a long time like PVC can. Okay, so that comes off what you're left with. There's no lenticular on this, like there is on the 4LP version, you know, with John, Yoko. This is straightforward. John on one side, Yoko on the other. Okay, it is a gatefold that opens up, and you've got their nice crowd shot from Madison Square Garden. Try and get you a view of the spine there. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. So as well as those two discs inside the gatefold, you will find the following. So there is an 8-page booklet here. So it is a sort of a floppy glossy paper insert. I think this is the same one as the no, it's not. Of course, it's not the same one as the 4LP version because it's a different track listing. So this is bespoke to the 2LP version. You've got the track listings on the back there, and then I will show you what kind of things you've got in here. You've got on the first page here. This is comments from the time from John. You've got comments from Yoko and new comments from Sean, all about this particular release. And we've got some nice photos here from the one-to-one concert. Nice picture of the flight case there, Elephant's Memory flight case, and there's all the credits for this particular release. So you'll find that inside the gatefold. There is also inside here, as there is in the other configurations, apart from the 2 CD, there is postcards here, John and Yoko themed, and another one there, a picture from the one-to-one concert. Okay, and in the other, like there is in all configurations, and how big this is depends on which configuration it is. It's obviously smaller in the 2 CD box than it is in the bigger packages, but here you've got this Power to the People poster. How far back do I have to go before you can see it all? I'm going to fall over. There we go. And I'm back. So you've got a nice poster in there as well. This is the first disc, so it's real nice rice paper or poly-lined sleeve. Real nice branding, same as what's on the 4LP version there, with Power to the People, and then it mentions down at the bottom there about it being live from the one-to-one concert. New York City, 1972. So you ready to see the vinyl? Here it is. So this is described on the website as transparent green. So it's certainly not a clear vinyl like some clear vinyls are. There was a clear version of Imagine a few years ago, which is really clear. But you know, I can see through this a little bit. You can probably see me through the other side, unfortunately for you. But there you go. That's disc 1 side B, disc 1 side A. Okay, so it is a very nice looking thing. It does look very similar to the record that came out, one of the Mind Games versions that came out a year ago, which was actually like a glow-in-the-dark version. This isn't glow-in-the-dark, or it's certainly not been advertised as such, so I don't expect it to be, but it does look very similar to that under normal lighting. That's disc 2 there. There's side B, and there's side A for you. Okay, so they are really nice looking records, and like I say, there is this same hybrid configuration is available in black vinyl for the same price. So that is a real nice set if you're wanting like a sort of a best of the 2 shows, the afternoon and the evening show. If you're wanting to go deeper and actually have both shows, that's on this 4LP box. This doesn't have the hybrid show in it, so it depends what you want really. Do you want something that's containing both shows? Do you just want like a best of, which to be honest that's what most live albums are anyway, isn't it? If you get, let's take Wings Over America for example, that's not taken from one show, it's taken from many shows, sort of better performances picked from each. So yeah, that's really nice. And one thing that this is making me realise, now that I've got these various configurations, and I do realise how lucky I am to get these various configurations, I certainly don't take it for granted. If I was going to say that there's something missing from this overall, what I would say is it's a real shame that there isn't the new the remixed version of it's not a remixed version of Sometime in New York City, because of course there is a song missing. I've talked about that enough. I think if you've watched my other videos, you know my feelings on that. We've got this as a result of the fact that that song has had to be omitted on this occasion. Unfortunately, would I have loved it to have been included? Of course I would. And I think I don't want to speak for the Lennon estate, but I imagine that their feeling is probably the same as well. They would have loved to have included it, but not able to. But the one thing that I do feel is missing is a vinyl version of this remix of the rest of the songs from the album. So they're calling it they're calling it like a sort of a reimagined New York City album, and it sounds fantastic. It really does. So I think I'm right in saying that the only place where you can get it is this. Okay, so if you want that, I hope it'll be on streaming as well. It is a shame that it's not on vinyl, because they have transformed that album. The remix sounds fantastic. It really feels like you're in the studio with John and Yoko and the Elephant's Memory Band. It's a superb remix, especially something like the title track, New York City. We'll call it the title track. Just sounds like a great rock and roll song. A real sort of it's got a Chuck Berry vibe to it, and I actually read that in the book that comes with this. I'm about 2/3 of the way through reading the 200 and odd page book in here at the moment, and it was interesting that it mentioned specifically in there, when I think I'd already mentioned it on one of my previous videos about it having a very Chuck Berry feel to it. But you really feel like you're in that studio, and the fact that there's no raw studio mixers in that box set like there's been in previous ones, I think they just didn't need to, because this new remix feels like that's what it is. The song We're All Water, Yoko's song, which I've always really enjoyed. I think it's just such a fun song. I went back and listened to the original album version, and it sounds like it was, I know it wasn't a live version from a concert, but it almost sounds, because of the reverb and everything, as though it's in a concert hall being played live, but it wasn't. It was in a studio, and it really sounds like you're in the middle of it now. So I would have really loved there to have been a vinyl version of those remixes. Is it something that's going to happen maybe for Record Store Day next year? I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. But that would be great if it was. I think it deserves a wider release. So I think overall, this release now, as I've got, I think all the I'm sure this is all the configurations that I'm going to be getting. I probably would have said the same a couple of weeks ago. But looking at it as a whole package, it's a real good look at that 1972 political period of John and Yoko, which is, I don't think many people would say that musically it's the best year that they ever did. I think that would be a bit generous to say that, but in terms of what was going on, in terms of the year that they had, all the things that they were getting involved in, the fact that it contains this one-to-one concert, which is the only full-length concerts John ever did outside of the Beatles, I think historically it's a really interesting period, and the fact that they've grouped it as like a historical, like an era box set rather than the others which have been focused on an album, I think was a wise way to go about it. But I definitely think that there's room for those New York City mixes to get a vinyl release, and I really hope that happens. But it is a great box set, and I'm not just saying that because I've been sent it all. I think the fact that it's noticeable that the Lennon camp are keen to send these out to people who can get the information out there to people more than McCartney does, or George does. Ringo doesn't even get involved in these things at all, more than the Beatles do. And I think a lot of that is down to they're probably confident in their product. They're doing a real great job with these box sets, and they're confident enough to put them out there in advance, because people could quite easily cancel pre-orders after seeing a box set if they didn't like the look of it. I just think that they're confident in the products that they're putting out, and the right to be confident. So yeah, really good 2 LP package here on the green vinyl. Hopefully, can we please get a New York City reimagined album on vinyl. That would be great. Let me know what you're planning on getting, what you think. I'm sure that loads of you will have things to say. You've certainly not held back on the previous videos on this subject. Goodness me. I wonder how many arguments I'll get into this time. We will find out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. It's only about 3 weeks now till the release. I'd love to do a live stream where we can do a World Cup on this stuff. Hope you can join me for that. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.